You about to witness. You get an understanding. Understanding. LA to Brooklyn.
You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes after or what came before. You just gotta bend your knees, take a deep breath, and jump.
I'm Commander Darkitect of the Audio Rebellion Unit and created FL Studio Control Panel, known as FLCP, created for the Elgato Streamdeck, developed here in the lab. Give audio soldiers like you all the tools you need to turn your Elgato Streamdeck into a versatile weapon and unlock the potential of the Streamdeck. Take your efficiency to the next level. We are broadcasting from the near future. The world was transformed into a wasteland, led by a remaining government faction, the GGAE, who have all but outlawed live events and original music gatherings for generic, unoriginal, and AI-generated slop. This spawned our revolution. We formed an underground rebel force determined to empower the resistance with the implements necessary to create original music efficiently in FL Studio. To join in the fight against bad producers and the GGAE's cookie-cutter beats. Here at the HQ, we are the leaders of the resistance against the audio establishment. A rebel force of forward-thinking producers here in our underground lab, testing the latest developments in FL Studio and Elgato Streamdeck. Creating and perfecting the elements that will help turn your Streamdeck into an invaluable efficiency tool in FL Studio and a powerful weapon in our resistance. Along with the Special Audio Forces Squadron, we will use this channel to bring you tutorials. To your question, host audio production live streams and DJ sessions, new feature walkthroughs, music releases, and more. We're here today as we have been hard at work in the lab, and we're happy to bring you the first ever update for the FL Studio control panel for Elgato Streamdeck, version 1.2.7. We're under attack right now, but our forces are keeping the enemy at bay. While we dive into these updates, we'll make you an even more valuable asset in the Audio Rebellion forces. Let's get into it. You need it on the front line. By the way, if you haven't already picked up FLCP for Elgato Streamdeck, visit flcontrolpanel.com, pick up FLCP, and join the Efficiency Rebellion. Darkitect out. Welcome, Loopheads, to the lab at Drumslinger Audio Productions, makers of the FL Studio control panel for Elgato Streamdeck. Here today to roll out the much anticipated first update of the FLCP profile for Elgato Streamdeck, version 1.2.7. Let's talk about the new features included in the update, which, like FL Studio, all FLCP profile purchases have lifetime free updates. And this first update contains some real heavy hitters. To get started, we have several new and valuable shortcut keys being introduced in this update that should add efficiency and many new commands to the Elgato FLCP profile. We're going to go over that in more detail later in this video. We have some new features just being released, and this first feature is one of the ones that we've gotten more requests for than any other, and that is MacOS Beta profile. So on your Streamdeck XL and Streamdeck Plus, Mac users can finally start using FLCP to trigger shortcuts and commands in FL Studio. So this will bring the functionality that many users were asking for in this update for Mac OS X. And look out for even more developments for Mac and new features for FLCP in the next update as well. Another huge feature that is going to be, I think, an efficiency game changer is MIDI control. That's right, you're going to be able to implement the potentiometers, or the knobs, on the Streamdeck Plus to control the parameters of any instrument, effect, plugin, or just about any other control in FL Studio. So you can link up, your favorite instruments, effects, whatever you'd like, and use the knobs on your Streamdeck Plus to control it. And one of the biggest parts of this new update is actually the FLEX instrument. So if you use the FLEX instrument in FL Studio, which is a VST that comes with FL Studio, I created a project and a profile within FLCP that has all the controls within the FLEX plugin pre-linked. So you can control every parameter right out of the box by using the profile along with the project that is included with this update. So your FLEX user, you're going to find that this is going to be a huge update, and it should be very useful. And to ensure everybody can utilize the FLEX profile, the update includes an FL Studio project zip file with all FLEX parameters pre-linked, so you can link other plugin parameters to your Streamdeck profile and create the perfect template for your FL Studio and Streamdeck setup and workflow. And the last new update we're going to talk about today is the virtual Streamdeck profiles. This is going to utilize the newly released virtual profiles on Elgato Streamdeck version 7.0 and up. And the FLCP virtual profile helps serve as a master control panel to launch different sets of key commands to your Streamdecks, your physical Streamdecks that you have on your desk. And you do that by just the click of a mouse on the buttons that will appear on the desktop. This feature will give FLCP users even more efficiency options and control in streamlining their workflow. So yeah, you're going to see a lot of these updates are probably going to help out a lot. So just to make sure that everybody can use them, we're going to go through each one of them and what they do. But before doing that, before we dive into those features, let's take a moment to ensure you have the necessary software and Streamdeck plugins to access all the available features in the FLCP update 1.2.7. Again, the first thing you want to ensure you have is called LoopMIDI. This This is a lightweight Windows application for routing USB MIDI devices, and in FLCP, we'll use LoopMIDI to connect your Streamdeck Plus to FL Studio. So here on the screen, you can see a link to download the software. It's free of charge, and again, it's actually going to be very useful if you use USB MIDI devices with your computer in general, and again, free to download. Make sure you have that if you want to utilize the MIDI profiles. Next, we're going to go to the Elgato Streamdeck Marketplace and visit the plugins page to get a few essential Streamdeck plugins, which will help the new features in the update operate. So here's a link for the marketplace. The first plugin that you're going to want to get is just called MIDI. And this helpful plugin allows your Streamdeck devices to be recognized and used as USB MIDI controllers, like we will with FLCP and FL Studio. The next plugin we advise picking up is called Super Macro. This plugin allows for the creation of custom macros and keyboard shortcuts using code that are otherwise not available natively on the Streamdeck. You'll see a lot more of this plugin being implemented in the future update. And finally, we suggest grabbing the Cosmetic Keys plugin, which is a very lightweight plugin with one simple function of displaying images on the keys of your Streamdeck. Like the name says, the keys are only cosmetic and not used to trigger any commands, but some cosmetic keys are used for the menus in FLCP, so make sure you pick this one up in the marketplace before you open up FLCP 1.2.7. That's about it for the required plugins and software needed for FLCP. Now we'll quickly go over setting up LoopMIDI so your Streamdeck can send and receive MIDI messages with FL Studio. And to set this up, after you've installed the LoopMIDI software, open the LoopMIDI application. Once opened, you'll see a window like this appear. This is where you'll identify the MIDI ports used by your Streamdeck so they can be recognized by FL Studio. Start by adding the incoming MIDI port. In this new port name field, type Streamdeck to DA. Then click plus sign to create a MIDI input port. Be sure to follow the capitalization seen in this example. Capital S, capital D, the number 2, and a capital D and DAW, no spaces. Next, we'll add the outgoing MIDI port for FL Studio to communicate back with your Streamdeck. To do this, go back to the new port name field and enter DAW to Streamdeck. Then click the plus sign again to add a second port. As LoopMIDI takes up very little CPU, you can feel free to close the LoopMIDI window as the application should continue to run in your sys tray in the background. You can check this by closing LoopMIDI and opening it again. You should see the 2 ports you just created still present in the LoopMIDI window. If your window matches ours, you should be all set to start using FLCP and your Streamdeck devices to control FL Studio instruments, effects, and more. Once the LoopMIDI setup is complete, to check that the configuration is correct, open FL Studio and go to Options, MIDI Settings. If you've set the ports correctly, you should see both MIDI ports created, Streamdeck to DAW and DAW to Streamdeck, listed in the MIDI in and MIDI out device listing. Now we're going to quickly go over how to install FLCP, specifically the 1.2.7 update, but this works if you're installing FLCP for the first time as well. So upon downloading the files for FLCP, you're going to see that it is a single zip file, FLCP 127. I'm going to extract this zip file. Windows, so I'll just go to extract all. Alright, so then you'll see the folder, FLCP 127. You can open that up. Alright, so to get started, the first thing you're going to do, if you're using the MIDI controls that are with the FLCP new 1.2.7 update, if you're planning on using those dials or any of the MIDI controls, you're going to want to do this first. And this is going to update the artwork for the MIDI controls on your Streamdeck. So to get started, let's go to this folder here where we have the extracted files for the installation. You'll see that there's a folder here just labeled FLCP. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that folder. And I'll just do a Control-C to copy that. And if you look in the same folder, you're going to see a text document where it says links and locations. I'm going to open that. And here you're going to see this path, right? Under MIDI artwork install location. If I copy that, I can then go to my Explorer window and paste it in the address bar area, and then hit enter. It'll take me right to that folder. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the file. I've already moved it here, but I'm going to show you guys just so you can see how it works. So this is how the folder in the vPod, and this is actually part of the MIDI plugin that allows you to use the dials in the FLCP. So you're going to this specific location, and in that folder you're just going to paste that FLCP folder that we copied in the previous text. So in the black folder, I'm going to paste the FLCP folder and copy that. And we're going to paste it here in the black. Okay. And just so you know, that's got all of the graphics files in it for the MIDI controls. So once it's there, I can exit out. And I'm back in the extracted files here, the update. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Streamdeck. I'm going to go to the settings. So I click on this here, it goes to settings. Click on that gear icon. And so before you move on with the next step, if you have Streamdeck profiles and things like that already set up on your Streamdeck that you use often, you don't want to lose them, you can go to the down arrow here, click on backup all, and then create backup. And then what that's going to do, it's going to allow you to save all the profiles you currently have in your Streamdeck so that you can bring these back up when you're not using FLCP. Alright, just to make sure you save them. Okay, so I've already done that. I've already have these files here where I've saved profiles that I normally use that aren't FLCP. So I'm just going to hit cancel, but remember you can save that. So be sure to do that so you don't lose all the profiles upon loading up FLCP. Okay, so I'm going to assume that I've already saved all the profiles that I need. So I'm going to go back to backup all in Streamdeck settings, and we're going to go to restore from backup. So this dialog is going to open up here with the files. I'm going to navigate to the folder where I extracted the FLCP files, and in there you're going to see a backup. It's called FLCP Virtual Control Panel Profiles. So I'm going to click that, click on open. This dialog is going to appear, and since again it's going to replace all of your current Streamdeck profiles, it's just kind of making sure you want to do that. We've already saved the ones we needed to save, so we're going to click on restore. And this process might take anywhere from 15 seconds to maybe a couple minutes depending on your computer. And once it's done, you should see FLCP profiles loaded up on all of your devices. Alright, so the restore from backup is now done in Streamdeck, and I can see that my FLCP profiles are now loaded up on all my devices. So yeah, that's basically it. You're going to use the backup file to install the FL control panel. So So yeah, that'll load up all the profiles on your devices, and that is basically it for, as far as the installation or the FLCP 1.2.7 update. Also, in the Streamdeck extracted files, you're going to see the FLCP MIDI link compressed zip folder, and that is actually a project made for FL Studio. So when you open that up, it's going to have the pre-linked FLEX parameters. So if you're looking for that profile, or you're looking for the project where you can open it up and have FLEX already pre-linked, that's the file there, the FLCP MIDI link. All right, if you have any questions about the installation, remember there's also the product manual within there. It's a PDF file, and it'll walk you through the entire installation process. You're good to go. Let's move on to the next section and some of the exciting keyboard shortcuts we have in this new update. Now it's time to talk about the new shortcut keys available in FLCP version 1.2.7 update and what they do when pressed on your Elgato Streamdeck devices in FL Studio. We'll start with the playlist shortcuts. This update brings several new shortcut keys to FLCP for the FL Studio playlist. It will save you time and help evolve your workflow. Also, please note, for some of these commands to work, make sure you're using FL Studio version 2025.2 and above, as the update contains commands that were not available in prior versions. The first playlist shortcut key is a popular command amongst FL Studio enthusiasts, the Make Unique command. If you're not familiar, Make Unique takes the audio of the clip selected on the timeline and makes the selected clip into a unique instance of the clip. This includes creating a new channel rack for the unique clip, which can then be independently routed in the mixer to add different effects, automation, etc. This is a very useful shortcut that you can now trigger at the press of a button with FLCP. Next, we have the Reverse Selected Clips button. Just as you would expect, the Reverse Selected Clips button reverses any clips currently selected on the timeline. This is very useful for timeline editing, as reversing audio clips can add substance to a track or turn a breakdown into a build-up at the stroke of a button. To use it, simply select the playlist clip you would like to reverse on the timeline, press the key, and voila! The clip is reversed instantly. Moving on, we have the Consolidate Selected Clips button. This command essentially creates a mixdown of the selected clips and replaces them on the timeline when complete. When triggered, the Export Audio dialog will appear, and once complete, the consolidated audio clip will be placed on the timeline. Next in line is the Invert Selection shortcut. This is the first of several timeline selection shortcuts added in the 1.2.7 update. The Invert Selection command basically takes your current timeline selected clips, and when executed, all of the clips on the timeline that were not selected before the command would then be selected, deselecting the clips selected prior, thus inverting your current selection. That is very similar to the next new shortcut, the Select Around Selection command. Much like the Invert Selection shortcut, the main difference with the Select Around Selection command is that unlike the Invert Selection command, which only selects all prior unselected clips on the timeline, this command selects the timeline area that is not selected prior to executing. The other playlist commands added in the update are the Select Next Time and Select Previous Time commands, which, similar to the previous Select Around Selection button, allow producers to quickly select all clips prior to or previous to the selected clips on the timeline, or all clips after the selection using the Select Next Time command. These I use often to save time in arranging in FL Studio, and these playlist selection shortcuts can be useful if you're at the end or beginning of a track and want to add or remove part of an arrangement or add a new section. You can quickly select the clips outside of your current selection and move them on the timeline. I suggest you try them out. Many aren't aware of it. They can definitely be a great efficiency hack. Now on to the next component of the 1.2.7 update, piano roll shortcuts. With the FL Studio piano roll, if you're a producer that uses MIDI devices or keyboards to record MIDI performances into the piano roll, You may be familiar with the fact MIDI notes played in are different colors depending on the MIDI channel used when recording the notes. This is where the Change Note Color shortcut can help. If you want to change the color of the notes in the piano roll, this key allows you to quickly do that by simply selecting the notes you want to change, then selecting the color to change them to by clicking the Color tab just under the piano roll drop-down menu, and then clicking the command Change Note Color. As you see in this example, the note color is changed instantly to the currently selected color. Speaking of selecting colors, the next command also involves MIDI note color, as it simplifies selecting any MIDI notes in the piano roll arrangement by their note color or MIDI channel. To use this command, choose the color of the notes you want to select in the Color tab in the upper left piano roll window. Then, press the Select by Color key to select all notes of that color in the current piano roll arrangement. Now for the producers that use MIDI arrangements or packs or like to save their MIDI data, we will discuss the Export MIDI file shortcut. To save your current piano roll arrangement as a score file, which later can be opened in FL Studio or any DAW for that matter, you simply have to open the piano roll window for the pattern you'd like to export, then hit the Export MIDI file key to save the arrangement. A dialog will appear prompting you to name your file and save location. Similarly, we've added the Import MIDI file shortcut, which, when pressed, brings up the dialog to navigate to the score file you'd like to import into the current pattern. Use that dialog to select it, then click Import to import the score into your current piano roll pattern. So that wraps up the new shortcuts introduced in version 1.2.7. Can't wait to see how you use them to your advantage and optimize your workflow with FLCP. Alright, so now we're going to go over to FL Studio and open up that zip file, FLCP MIDI link. And again, what that does, it's going to open up a new project. There's just a basic arrangement in there, and you just go in and you change whatever you would like to change. But one of the things that's most key is out of the box. You can use FLEX instruments, and I'm going to go ahead and open up within the Streamdeck. So I've opened up the main profile here, and we're looking at the Elgato Streamdeck Plus. Alright, so I'm going to go to this first knob here and move it until I see the new MIDI. I'm going to push that button. And here we are at the MIDI main screen on the Elgato Streamdeck Plus. So, I just want to show you here the fact that it's already connected with the FLEX instrument. So I'm going to go ahead and click, or press the button for FLEX here in the top right corner. So these three knobs here, they will control different parameters within the FLEX instrument. Okay? So to get started, you can see here this says res, and that's going to control the resonance within the master filter area. And these are automatically linked up from the start, so you don't have to do any linking here. And this is going to control the filter res. So this is going to be your filter section, and this knob is going to be for the master filter section. And you push the knob in once, and now you can see that it's switched to cutoff. So this is from the master filter. Now I'm moving the cutoff. And then if I hit this one here, I can cycle between the filter envelope amount, the cutoff, and the resonance. Alright, and this is going to be automatically linked up from the start when you open up that zip file. So, when you open that project, it's going to be good to go with all the FLEX linking on different parameters. So this right here is the master filter and filter section. You can see there's a button here in the top left corner where it displays which part of the Flex interface that you're currently going to be adjusting with these knobs. Okay, so for the first master filter and filter sections, it's just these two knobs right here. Now we're going to go ahead and go to the next section, and we can do that by choosing which one we want to go to on this this second knob here. So let's go ahead and get started and just take a look at different area. This is going to be the macros and envelopes, right? So you see the macros and envelope section in FL Studio on Flex right here. And now I have also two knobs again that are active, and I can see what the current value is, and I can move these around. So I'm starting off, I can see on the screen here I'm in R, and then in FL Studio in the filter envelope area, you can see when I move this knob, R is moving. If I click it again, it's going to go to A, H, decay, sustain, and release again. So that's going to be your filter envelope knob. And then we have the volume envelope knob here, where you have the same thing. You can see the readout where it's going to show you which parameter you're currently going to be adjusting. So that's the envelope section. And then we're going to quickly go ahead and bring up one more section here. And that is delay and reverb. So you see the delay and reverb section in the Flex instrument. So we have these two knobs here, delay, reverb, and then here we have the limiter, which is right next to the reverb on Flex. All right, so I'm going to move these knobs around, and I can see right now this is the delay knob. So in the delay section, controlling the mod, and here in the reverb section, I'm also controlling the mod, and in the limiter section, controlling the mix. Again, you click each one of these, and you can cycle through the different parameters that are available. So now I'm on time. This is in the delay section. Now I'm on feedback. Click it again. Now the mix section, and so on and so forth. Same thing with each of these three knobs. So that's controlling everything that we have there as far as the filter envelopes, master filter, delay, reverb, and limiter. In the macros, you'll see a section at the top here of Flex for macros. You can control those by using the actual Streamdeck keys here. So you click this or you hold it down, and that's moving the second to last macro. And here's the last one. And the same thing throughout. You'll see as I was cycling through the different sections, there's also more macro controls up here. This is actually for pitch. So you'll see right here in the top it'll say pitch, and I push the top button to move the pitch up, the bottom button to move the pitch down. And this is going to be the output of the overall gain, or the output of the Flex instruments. So you can do up and down there. You can see it moving in FL Studio also. Alright. So I'm going to go to the next one here, and this is going to continue to be the macros. So this is the first macro. This is the filter. And you can see this on the top button in each one of these sort of rows here. So this is the filter, this is vibrato, this is unison, and these change with the different patches that you load within Flex, but this is just kind of give you an illustration. Each one of those, the particular
fader that these control in FL Studio won't change. It's just the actual name of the parameters that may change depending on the preset that you have loaded. So I'm going to go to the next page here, and we're going to take a look and see these other ones. So you can see as I go through the different sections of the Flex, on the top part here, this is where I can control all the macros. So everything is actually linked up here in Flex. It's fully linked and ready to go in that zip file. So if you use Flex often, I would definitely recommend starting with that MIDI link, and then you can build out your project however you want from there and make it work for your setup and however you work and your workflow. So that's just a way to get started. Now I'm going to go through how to use Flex with your own custom instruments or whatever kind of plugins that you're using in your project. You want to link those up so you can use the knobs. We're going to go over that really quick on how you can do that. Alright, so we already saw how we would do it with Flex. This is just a simple 3 oscillator, but let's go ahead and use something that we probably would see more producers use. Let's see. I'm going to open up an instance of Serum. Alright, so let's say, for example, I want to link up some of these knobs here with my Streamdeck. And to get started, we'll say what I want to do. We'll say that I want to link the detune knob here within oscillator A with one of my knobs on Streamdeck so that I can control it. So I'm going to go back to the beginning screen here. Alright, and this is the home for the new MIDI controls. And you'll see here on the bottom row, these are all custom device. So I'll click on custom device 1. Alright, so here we have custom MIDI device 1. We've got these here, which are basically 3 faders you can assign to whatever you want. And then we also have these 3 knobs. And with each knob, you have 4 different controls. So you can essentially, each one of these being 3 or 4, you have 3 knobs, and then you have 4 different controls that you can change them to. So that means that you have basically 12 knobs that you can assign here within this first custom instrument. And feel free to, if you have more than 12 or other things you want to control, you can switch it to profile number 2 and then continue doing the same thing to link these knobs. Alright, so to get started, we're going to say I wanted to link this first control with my detune in Serum. So I'm going to go ahead and find within FL Studio, and I have to just bring this up. Multi-link to controllers, and that is, the knob that you'll see here in the top area within the toolbar. So I'm going to click on that knob. It's going to illuminate. And then I'm going to move the parameter that I want to link to my controller. So it'll stay permanent. I'm going to right click on that knob now. Once I've moved the parameter, I'm going to go down to the override global links option. Click on that. Now I'm going to see the knob that I want to link it to. It's going to be this one. And I'm just going to move that knob. Now you can see the Streamdeck is controlling the detune parameter. Alright, so let's say, like I said, we have 4 different knobs that we can control within each one of these actual physical knobs. So that first one, control number 1, is linked up to the detune. Let's say now I want to also link up blend on that same area. I click that knob one time. So that changes it to a different control. Now you can see the tune is not moving, and now it's on control 2 within the Streamdeck. I'm going to do the same thing. Click on this knob, move the blend knob, right click here, go to override global links, and remove the knob again. Alright, and I'm just going to quickly repeat that process for the phase and random knob also. And you can do more than one at a time. Let's illustrate that. Here's the first one. I moved the phase knob and I moved the random knob, okay? So I've done 2 different parameters here. Now I'm going to right click, go down to override global links. I can see now that I want this to be on number 3 because I've already got the first 2 assigned. So I move this to number 3, move it once, then I'm going to move it to number 4 and move it again. All right. So now you can see in Serum, I have these. Here's the first one, detune. Click it again, blend. Click it again, phase. Click it again, random. So there we go. You can see how you can use these knobs to link these up to whatever parameters you like. The same thing is available with these at the top here, the buttons. So the buttons on the Streamdeck, you'll see that these are basically 3 additional faders that you can link up to whichever parameter you want also. So for example, if I wanted to control you know, on the mixer or wherever I want to control it. Let's do it with the mixer. So it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to click on this, remove this knob or this fader, right click here and click override global links. And there we go. All linked up. And I click top button to go up with the volume, bottom button to go down. And those links will be there. So like once you're done editing, or if you want to, you know, continue the next day or whatever you want to do, you just go to File, and I would save this as whatever you like. But you know, in this case, we're just going to call it edited, since we know that we've made some permanent links with this version. And then if you want, you can go ahead and save this as a template, open it up whenever you want, and then everything will be linked up the way you set it up with your Streamdeck. So that is just a basic rundown on how to link up parameters within this to Streamdeck and the FL control panel. In this section, we're going to discuss a revolutionary new feature added to FLCP with the 1.2.7 update, which is the virtual Streamdeck profile. In Elgato Streamdeck version 7.0 and above, the new virtual profile feature was added, which allows users to create Streamdeck profiles that can be used directly on your computer, with buttons you click with your mouse, the same as you would your finger on a standard Streamdeck device. In FLCP, we've implemented the virtual Streamdeck profiles to allow FLCP users to launch profiles to specific devices by using your mouse to click the button for the profile or multi-device profile you select. So just to illustrate, for example, let's say I only have one Streamdeck device, a Streamdeck XL. I can use the virtual profile to click the best profile for the window I'm currently working in within FL Studio to change the current profile on all my devices to the tools for the areas I'm currently working in FL Studio. So let's see this at work. To activate the virtual profile, you can either click the toggle virtual Streamdeck button on one of the FLCP menus on a Streamdeck device, which is this icon, or You can use the hotkey which we created, which will automatically launch the virtual Streamdeck device, and that is Control F3. Upon opening the virtual Streamdeck, you'll be taken to what's called the virtual Streamdeck simple layout, where you will see buttons for the channel rack, mixer, playlist, piano roll, file menus, browser, and toolbar. All the main windows in FL Studio, in addition to a button to launch the new MIDI control profile. There's also a button for system volume control, another to switch the layout, and another to close the virtual profile. To streamline your editing process, let's say we are working within the playlist in FL Studio. If I click Playlist Options button on the virtual profile, all connected Streamdeck devices will now switch to display shortcuts for the FL Studio playlist. Or if I'm working in piano roll, I click that to switch all devices to piano roll shortcuts and options. So you can see how this can help save you time, even within the FLCP ecosystem. Next, let's talk about the multi-device profile, aka MDP. On the FLCP virtual profile, you'll see 5 buttons for the available multi-device profile: Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, and Echo. These were designed to optimize Streamdeck workflow in FL Studio by syncing the 2 devices in more or less a master-slave relationship, in which one device, known as the selector, determines the commands that appear on the other device, which we will call the executor. Each MDP is made up of 1 selector and 1 executor class device, as seen here. To determine which MDP is best for your setup, locate which MDP contains any 2 Streamdeck devices you own. A rule of thumb: the smaller Streamdeck device, as in the device with the least amount of buttons, is always the selector, and the larger is going to be the executor, as it provides more commands for the user. You can also find this chart in the readme.pdf file included with the FLCP 1.2.7 update folder. So let's see the MDPs in action. To use an MDP, ensure the 2 devices for the MDP you want to use are connected and recognized by your computer. Then, click the virtual profile button for the MDP you want to activate. You will now see the main FL window folders on one device and a list of commands displayed on the other. Use the selector device to change the category of command to be shown on the executor. I now have my Streamdeck Mini, which is just 6 keys, but on each one of those I can use that to launch the window that I'm currently working within FL Studio on all my Streamdeck devices. So let's say I'm working in a playlist. I click Playlist on my Streamdeck Mini, and on my Streamdeck XL, now I have all of my playlist options. So rather than just working with the Streamdeck Mini to launch things, I can use the Mini to open up the other options that I'm using on my much bigger Streamdeck XL, so I have a quicker access to more commands, a lot faster. Alright, so now we'll go back to the overall Streamdeck panel. Click the Switch Layout button to cycle through the 3 available standard FLCP button configurations and the 1 condensed or simple layout until you find the one you prefer. I'm cycling through them, and at any time I want, I can go click on the simple layout button to go back to the simple layout in which I'm just launching the category depending on the FL Studio window I'm currently using. A couple more things to cover before wrapping up this section on the virtual control panel are the other buttons you see available in the 3 standard virtual panel layout. You'll see the standard FL Studio transport buttons to stop, play, pause, or record in the FL Studio timeline, in addition to a button to toggle the pattern or song playback while working in the FL Studio playlist. There's also a placeholder key, Open FL Studio, that, depending on your installation location for FL Studio, may need a small bit of attention, and that if it doesn't work, open your Streamdeck settings window and click the Open FL Studio key in the virtual Streamdeck. I'm just going to walk you through the process to change that button so that you can have it actually open FL Studio. So I'm clicking on that button. If it's not appearing here for you, just go ahead and type in FL Studio and it should find it as long as you have Streamdeck 7.0 and above. Locate your FL Studio installation, click that, and you should be all set. And you will see the Open FL Studio key in many of the different profiles in FLCP. So keep in mind, if they don't work straight away, you can go ahead and set the directory to your FL Studio exe file, as we just did. And this key should allow you to both open FL Studio by clicking the button once, and once open, you can close FL Studio by holding down or long pressing the same button.